I'd like to welcome you guys to the second half of our doubleheader night. I'm a guy who sucks at games, I play games that don't suck, and joining me is a resident 00 agent, Matt. So, welcome
hey guys.
to The World Is Not Enough, but also on the side we will be talking generally about No Time to Die. Daniel Craig's fifth and final Bond film, and the 25th film overall in the franchise, if I heard that correctly.
Yep, number 25, correct.
Yep. We're gonna have quite the barn burner here.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not gonna, for this session, we're not gonna go into deep spoiler territory. We'll just say, like, what we liked about the film, maybe things we didn't like. Maybe like general things, maybe stuff that, you know, we already know going into the film, but just overall keep it spoiler free. So,
alright.
I think I'll start off with you, Yosh. What was your overall impression of the film?
For a swan song film, I liked it.
Yeah, I definitely will agree that it was, out of all the final films each Bond actor got, I'd say it's definitely the best. I hands down agree. It actually felt like a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
While their films just felt like continuations, or like, oh yeah, Bond will come back. It's like Die Another Day and License to Kill were not intended to be Pierce's and Dalton's final films. A View to a Kill to Living Daylights just felt like a continuation. And
Mr. Bond.
and yeah, Sean Connery technically got 3 conclusions. Yellow Twice, Damson Forever, and well, if you count the unofficial Never Say Never Again. But no, this film actually feels like something that actually ties all the Bond actors' films together in one arc. I definitely will say the Daniel Craig films are definitely the most serialized out of any Bond actor's time period. It's like with every other Bond film, you could, prior to Craig, you could pretty much watch any Bond film and get the point, but with here they actually try to do a serialized story altogether.
No one
like all the films directly impacted each other, and all kind of came to a head in this one.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Please remove your firearm.
But yeah, I'd say overall I liked it. There might have been a couple of things I'm like, but yeah, overall I liked it. It's, like I said, I definitely will say this is the best final film the Bond actors ever had so far.
I didn't come
like
for the
a
money.
proper send-off.
The report you sold King was stolen from an MI6 agent who was killed for it.
Like something that didn't left us hanging, you know. Like Die Another Day did if we don't play the games.
Give me a name.
Yeah, because it's more like, after Pierce, it's like, oh yeah, go play Agent Under Fire, Night Fire, and Everything or Nothing if you want a proper conclusion. Or the closest thing you have to it.
Yeah, at least you have that. Problem is, not every Bond person, Bond fan is a gamer, so. But yeah, I definitely will say, we already know that there's going to be a new 007 in this movie. Bond is fired on that. That's not a spoiler. We already knew that. And to be completely honest, that part that I was worried about, you know, the new 007 Lashana Lynch's character, she and Daniel Craig's there, I will admit, was one of the best parts of the film. I will admit.
Because you think they had good chemistry together?
I definitely would say so. Yeah, it was nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, yeah, they did kind of start off a little, you know, toe-to-toe with each other, but I'd say overall, it's like, oh yeah, these guys are actually going to respect each other and work together as a team. So, yeah, I was actually in for a pleasant surprise with that part. I think it's, yeah, go ahead.
Was I supposed to do anything with the videotape there, or does that not matter on this difficulty?
Not on Agent, not on Agent.
Okay. Just crack the main safe and get out of here. Alright. But yeah, it's like, what did you think about the pacing of the film?
Oh my gosh, the pacing. Oh my gosh. I will say, it was definitely a hell of a lot better than Spectre. By a long shot. This is the longest Bond movie so far in the history of the franchise. Honestly, it didn't feel like 2 hours and 45 or 43 minutes. I felt like the pacing was that good. I mean, if you told me that this was only like 2 hours long, I would have fallen for it if I didn't know any better. I did think it was... I definitely will say this or Skyfall is the best paced Craig film, in my opinion. But, yeah, Spectre was really sluggish, and I feel like they're like, okay, we gotta have to be more faster paced. Especially since this is gonna be Craig's final one, so we better, you know,
pull out
have
all the
everything
stops.
jive. Yeah. And then make sure everyone's invested in the story, like it's all just streamlined together and all just goes from point A to point B to from point B to point C and so on and so forth. So yeah, I do think it was like light years better than Spectre as far as pacing. Just the pacing alone made this better than Spectre. But yeah, I definitely will say, yeah, this or Skyfall would be the best paced one of the Craigs. Yes.
Yeah, especially for like north of 2 hours and 30, it's like you want to make sure there's never a dull moment.
Oh yeah.
And
depending on how bad that is, it can drag down the film. Yeah.
Yeah, and it felt like, you know, it's like the progression felt natural, as in you did go from like point A to point B, and you also went from point B to point C, and then it just kept going along. It's like James jumps from like Felix to you know who to Madeline to you know also who.
Yes. I will say the villain was a little underdeveloped, but I don't think the movie was really so much about the villain, to be honest. It wasn't really so much about that.
You ever felt like it was more like Madeline's story than anything else?
Sir Robert King.
Yeah.
Ah, the man who
There's
retrieved
one
my money.
part in the film
Excellent
which
job,
I'm
Can't thank
just
you
like,
enough.
oh. I mean, throughout the film, I didn't know who was going to be a villain, who was going to be
Sir
a
Robert is
friend
no friend.
or ally to Bond.
I helped him
But
years
with
ago
Madeline,
when
I'm
his
just like,
daughter
oh my
Electra was
gosh, are they going to
kidnapped by
pull
the
World
terrorists
Son up
Renard.
here at one certain
Still,
part?
all that in the
But
past. Sir Robert thought that the report he paid for
but yeah,
would
the villain,
identify the
I don't think the
terrorists who
movie was
attacked his
really
new oil
too much
pipeline
about the
in
villain.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
Then
you could say it was more
discovered
about
actually
Madeline and
about the
Bond's
nuclear
relationship,
arsenals in the
really.
former Soviet
But
Republic, so
I
he handed it over
honestly,
to me.
I can see why people
Something's
were
not
like,
right
oh, the
about all
Bond,
this.
the Bond villain felt kind of underwhelming, and I'm
The
like,
money.
yeah, but I don't think it was really so much about the villain, to be honest. It was more about him as a plot device to
Bond, we're under
influence
attack.
Madeline and
Find
Bond's
Sir Robert.
relationship and all that.
The automatic security door system is damaged.
Yeah, try not to get into any spoilers. That's just the general thought I had about the villain, just being used as just a way to kind of
Propel the
get
story.
Bond and Madeline's, just to get Bond and Madeline's relationship. Just to kind of take it in a wild direction, basically.
Quickly, Bond. We need someone with your clearance to activate the manual override. Use these keypads to initiate the lockdown.
What else? Oh yeah, with that, once again, without going into any spoilers, I like how it referenced different movies outside of the Craig era, and like some things that happens are like, oh, this is something that similar happens in this movie. Oh, this is like a car that Bond, well, a different Bond actor drove in this movie, or oh, this is something similar that happens in this. I really like how for the final film they kind of roll all that into the film while basically telling a new story. Basically, I like how it. There's one particular scene where a specific movie from the '60s had the main track from that film playing in the background, involving a scene with Bond and M. I thought that was a really cool touch.
What do you think about the supporting cast, about Emmett Moneypenny's involvement?
I think they were utilized a lot better in this film than Spectre, because I feel like in Spectre, I hate to make comparisons to Spectre, I know this is No Time to Die, but I feel like, you know, it constantly cuts back to London, and then to what they're up to with Nine Eyes and all that, and then it has to cut back to what Bond's doing, but it's like the reason it's doing all the cutting back and forth was, well, because the Nine Eyes thing with C was what was basically propelling the story forward. This one, it actually felt like the same movie. It didn't feel like it had to cut back. It felt like all directly connected each other, so it didn't feel like you're having to go back and forth between two different threads. It all felt like one streamlined plot, basically. But yeah, I definitely say they were better utilized in this film. I think their performances really popped out at me for this film.
James.
And
you'll be safe.
and yeah, LaShawn Lynch, I think, did a pretty good job, along with Springcast, too. Her interactions with M and all that was pretty cool to see. Just how now that Bond's gone, now M has to adjust to his new agent, who is very by the book, but you know, she isn't Bond. But yeah, I thought Moneypenny did a great job too. Naomi Harris. I think this might be her best performance. I'm not sure. I would say her Skyfall or this would be that. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot more involvement between Bond and basically the MI6 cast to really, you know, propel the story forward. Like Spectre, which it felt like two separate threads in one movie that you have to keep toe to toe with. Now, on Madeline, do you honestly think the World's Not Enough thing was going to happen with her, or no?
Probably.
Take this pin from the detonator.
Because at one particular time, I'm like, okay, are they really going to do this?
Get to the Q labs at once. The suspect is
Like I said, my hands are kind of tied with how much depth I can really go into on the plot without giving something away.
I think how the trailers were going to say something that's like, is it going to be Madeline's secret that kills Bond, or is it going to be something else?
Okay. But yeah, how would you rank this movie in the Craig era, roughly? I think for me, first place is our Casino Royale Skyfall. Well, it kind of rotates first and second for me. I'd probably rank this really third, Spectre fourth, and Honest fifth.
Yeah. Between that and Skyfall, ooh.
Yeah, I know. For me, it kind of switches between those two films, between Casino Royale and Skyfall for my favorite Craig film. So, oh yeah, I forgot to ask about the gun barrel. Oh yeah, well that kind of go into spoiler territory. Based on the gun barrel, like, did that kind of tell you what was going to happen in the film, just based on how the gun barrel was?
Stop! It isn't finished!
Because there was something different about it. It lacked something that all the other gun barrels didn't have. Don't want to directly say it though.
Well, I knew it was going to be
missed that
something
detail.
different, but yeah, that was kind of a big change. I'm like, huh, okay. And it's like, you could tell right from the get-go, it's like, yeah. No Bond during the prologue, huh?
Yeah, isn't it the first time where Bond is not directly after the gun barrel?
Yeah, or a scene that is featuring him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Which gun barrel do you like the best of the Craig era? Would it be this film or Skyfall or what?
Ooh. I'd say Skyfalls.
Spectre, it's like he was barely concealing the gun, but here he tried to.
Yeah. Like just keep it in his jacket up until the very last second.
Yes. With Spectre, he just flat out, as he walked, you could see he had the gun. Like, you're supposed to conceal that until you shoot someone.
Learned the art of the quick draw, huh? So, what have we talked about for No Time to Die recently? We've talked characters, we've talked kind of our general thoughts of it. We've talked characters.
Yeah, once again, we can only discuss so much without giving something away, though.
At least we do our best.
Yeah. What about the plot structure? When you talk about pacing, how do you feel about the plot structure of the film? Like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, like that kind of deal?
It kind of felt like they tried to segment it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, they try to make it, seamless.
But yeah, we can both agree the pacing was great, though. Trying to think. Wasn't he stuck with the PPK the entire run? I'm trying to remember.
I think he was.
For some reason, after Casino Royale, they just tossed the P99 for the PPK. I don't get it.
It's also especially jarring between, when you're moving between, Casino Royale to Quantum of Solace. He's still at the P99 for like the whole film, and then it's like, oh, Quantum comes, he has the PPK on hand.
I mean, I know the PPK is more concealable for that one final scene, but, still. Why are we going old school now?
Especially, it's like if the PPK is supposed to have been, discontinued by that point.
It's really weird because the P99 was discontinued at that point, and then the PPK was returned. I don't know why. It's
now,
weird.
Bond, we designed the
It's Skyfall, he has like,
for just this kind of
and then Spectre in this movie, he had it too. It's like, why? P99 is great.
It will safely support your weight as you climb.
Oh yeah, how do you feel about the Q gadgets?
Well, they tried to go a little bit more bare bones in like Skyfall's direction again.
Target is moving away, Bond.
It was like, okay, it's like, Spectre, you have the watch to do something useful this time. I kind of didn't feel like most of Q's gadgets had that sort of signature Bond flair to it. I mean, I get it in Skyfall, it's supposed to be like, let's go adopt more of the old school stuff again.
Isn't this like the most gadgets Bond ever got? Well, in the Craig era at least.
As far as unique ones, I believe so.
Hold on, sir. This area is sealed off.
And
We have a hostage situation.
I think 'Q has a bigger involvement in this
with
film
MI6, let me
than he
through.
did in Skyfall and Spectre, because Inspector, especially, he was just kind of there. But in Skyfall, yeah, he had a central point in the plot, like finding Silva and all that. But I feel like he gets to do the most stuff in this movie. I definitely will agree. Oh yeah, another thing. It seems like after the prologue sequence, it seems like Bond as a character, Daniel Craig's portrayal Bond, you feel like you're like, huh, you know, he's kind of lighthearted in some areas. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's no spoiler. He's in Jamaica after the prologue, but yeah, he seems more, you know, energetic for some reason. Like especially the part where he's playing off Lashana Lynch's character when they're back in MI6, where he's messing with her and all that stuff.
The woman you're chasing.
Snark usually brings the best out of some characters. Sometimes
we've reports of some kind of bomb.
Yeah,
the whole situation
but it's like
is a mess.
it's especially
Keep him at a safe distance.
yeah,
I'll
just
handle
stuff like
this.
that. So it's like,
Yeah, sir.
you know,
You
that's
may
kind of
need
a
this.
new thing for Craig's Bond. I mean, I guess maybe being Jamaica maybe meld him out. I don't know. But yeah, do you think tonal wise, you know, the movie kind of a deviation from the darker, grittier Craig films that we've gotten? But there definitely were dark stuff in this film, but do you feel like it kind of tried to mix both more lighthearted elements, more funny elements to the movie than previous Craig outings?
yeah, as in it's like, did it try to not take itself a bit too seriously and make Bond so much like a gritty hard ass?
I feel like it just kind of went back and forth between that and, you know, not taking it way too seriously. You know, I feel like it kind of went back. It wasn't a genre or anything. It's just like, oh, okay, looks like they kind of went with both. You know. But yeah, I can't wait to go into the specific plot details and references to their films and all that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the second half.
Second half, like next week or
Yeah.
yeah, sounds like it. I think there was only like what? There were plenty of henchmen, but the main villains, I think it was just Sapin, Rami Malek's character, and that CIA guy. So I think I count that as a henchman, really.
But yeah, if you're talking
really...
about like the secondary villains, it's like, yeah, he definitely made his moment.
There's a couple brutal scenes in this movie. Jeez.
Yep, and it's like, kind of reminds you a bit of like particular Craig not a Craig installment, a Moore installment.
Yeah.
That guy, when was that guy hiding in the toilet?
There's one really cool scene at the end. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is one of Craig's peak scenes. Like, wow. That particular scene apparently was a long take, but there's certain camera trickery they used to make it look like it was a seamless scene.
You'll need to use a diffuser kit
you know?
on these bombs. Now, they may have some kind of anti-tampering device built in, so if you attempt to defuse one too quickly, it's likely to explode.
Now, the thing I'm wondering about, I wonder if the supporting cast is gonna come back for Bond 26. You know, like M, Moneypenny, the same actors, you know. Or they'll just rehire, they'll just recast the roles.
Or are they gonna do another thing like from Pierce to Craig?
Oh yeah, Judi Dench from Saturday to Casino Royale, yeah. They could do that. You never know. If they did it with her, they could do it with them. But who knows? How many stars would you give the film if you had to give a star rating?
I give it 4.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think my expectations are a little bit too nutsy to say, okay, this is what could make a 10 out of 10 Bond film, but then again, that's kind of hard to go with nowadays.
Yeah, and apparently, I think Craig originally didn't want to do the film. He wanted to be done after Spectre, if I remember right.
It almost felt like Spectre tried to be a swan song, but they're like, one more time, why not?
Not from him!
Yeah. I mean, given how Spectre ended, it definitely could have served as a send-off. Albeit a little underwhelming, but yeah, it still could have worked.
Because they're like, you know, it's like, you can't have this guy come back, or at least this guy arrested, and not have Bond wrap up his loose ends with him.
Into an explosive, which was triggered by a King's
Blofeld.
lapel pin. Obviously, someone
Yeah, Blofeld
switched the original to
surprisingly,
this trigger
or
device, but we don't
Oberhauser,
know
where the heck you want to call him.
I've worked out that the money Sir Robert paid for the report.
He didn't have
was
as big
exactly
as
the
much
amount
role in the
Bernard
movie as I
asked as
thought
ransom
it
for
would
King's
be.
daughter,
He would have.
Electra.
Or it's like, you
The
would
whole
be
thing was a
thinking
setup.
he would break
Bernard
out
wanted to get
of
money back here. He wanted
prison
MI6
again
to
based off the
deliver a bomb
trailers.
to the king. It's a message.
Yeah.
Renard is back.
The trailers made it look like, oh
After
yeah,
being
he's
asked me
gonna...
for help, I
He
said
might not be the
009
main
to
villain,
Renard.
but,
Electra
you know,
managed to
might not be
escape
the
before
focal
009
point
caught up with
villain of the
target
film,
material.
but still,
He put a bullet
you
in
thought they were
his
gonna
head.
do some stuff with him.
Renard
It's like,
somehow
no,
survived.
not really.
The bullet is still there, and it will eventually kill him.
Like I
But
said,
until
not trying
then,
to
he can
get too
feel no
specific,
pain
but...
and push himself
Oh
harder
yeah,
than
and the
any
film
normal man.
does reference
Now
some
he is
Ian
dead
Fleming
and
material
MI6 is
too.
humiliated. He's had
Throughout the
his
film as
revenge.
well, different quotes
quite.
Bond says in the
Renard had
books.
3 enemies in that
One
kidnapping.
novel in
Sir
particular,
Robert King,
but
MI6,
yeah,
and the one he
once again, I
hasn't
like how
touched.
the film referenced
She must be
certain
next on his
things
list.
from the
Electra has
film's
taken over the
music,
construction of
different
her
things that
father's oil
happened in
pipeline
our
from the
films and all
Caspian
that.
Sea.
I like how I
Anti-Hutton
kind of
switched the
mix
lapel
that
pin.
into a new
If
plot
Renard
like
returns, make
this,
sure
and
Electra comes to
how
no harm.
those similar things build up to make something new, you know?
Yeah.
If you had to compare this to a other Bond film, what would you say the overall structure kind of resembles? If you had to name a couple films. Some people say it kind of resembles Majesty's a little bit.
Yeah, and it kind of almost resembles Majesty's, or at least the very important plot points follow up with
Yes.
that a lot.
Yeah, overall I'd say yeah.
In terms of stunt work, though, I don't know.
Because isn't Timothy Dalton the Bond actor that did most of his stunts?
Yeah.
You mean if the stunt work was seamless, you mean?
Yeah. Or at least the stunt progression.
Yeah. Overall, how did you feel about the Bond girls in this film?
I think, as I mentioned before, it kind of felt like Madeline was kind of the main focus, and it almost felt like at points it was her story rather than James's.
Yeah.
Naomi was a bit, you know, take it or leave it, but, you know, it's like, hey, it's like if she can have, like, insane chemistry with Bond, about how much they contrast with their days on the job, it's like, okay. As far as, I forgot her name, the one that Felix hired.
Anna de Armas' character. I remember the actress's name. I don't remember the character's name.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
I'd say she was good.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a little bit too short, though.
Yeah, she only
it's
had
like
4 or 5 minutes with James, and that was it.
It was like it was like 1 or 2 scenes with her. I'm like, oh, come on.
And then she had like 3 weeks of tram. Like, yeah, all right, you're that good after 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, let's save that for the detailed discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
way
2.
too big, but
I'm like,
yeah, I agree.
I'm like, oh, for 2 scenes, no. Like,
yeah, they could have done a lot more, but it's what we got.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we've seen Felix since Quantum of Solace, I think. Because he wasn't even in the Daniel Craig games, if I remember right.
Well, you know where Jeffrey Wright's been in the few years between.
Yeah.
Westworld.
Well, Double Seven Legends doesn't even count. It doesn't even use his likeness, but that's not even canon to the Craig continuity, so... But yeah, it's been, wow, like what, 13 years? Sheesh. Dang it.
Yeah, between Quantum of Solace and this one, yeah, it's like no showed in Spectre,
someone in your organization
no showed in Skyfall.
I'm here to protect
well,
you.
then again, it's like Skyfall, that problem, some of it wasn't his responsibility. It probably could have been.
I won't make the same mistake again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to check the upper survey site. There's snow and ice up there, so I have to do this on skis.
I came prepared for a cold reception.
But yeah, I felt like Jeffrey Wright did a great job here. I'd say either this or Christina Rowe was his best performance as a character.
Yeah. That's like, do you agree, like, almost all of the supporting cast played their parts well?
I'll lead them away. Go! Go!
Yeah, what they got. Yeah, I'd definitely say they did. They did a great job overall, yes. Now, how do you feel about Daniel Craig's performance? Do you think this is the best he did, or Casino Royale, or out of all the films he did?
I'd say, like, overall, in terms of, like, I wouldn't necessarily say capturing the Bond essence, because that's kind of hard for me to, you know, quantify.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, what his best acting role overall was, I think I'd have to give it to Casino Royale.
We are at the bat in that film. Well, it's directed by the same guy that did GoldenEye, so how can you go wrong? Seems like Martin Campbell always brings it. Each Bond actor he worked with off to a great start.
You think he might give the next Bond actor his first start as well?
Yeah, I think Martin Campbell said he'd only be interested in doing a Bond film that happens to be the first film for a Bond actor, yeah. So who knows, maybe he might be in the cards in the future, we never know, assuming he's still there.
Did he do Skyfall, or was that someone else?
Skyfall was Sam Mendes, if I remember right.
Yeah, and he went back to back.
Yeah. Really weird thing about Spectre is if you told me that they were directed by the same person, it's like I would not understand you. They're just so different. Like, what?
Like, you would have thought there would be continuity in the writing staff, but there wasn't. Really.
Oh yeah, the director doesn't really have direct writing control, yeah, so...
Because it's like, what, Purvis, Wade, and then whoever the third guy is at the time?
Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, the writing stuff, I guess, is different. Yeah, the director doesn't deal with the writing, you know, the staff does, but... Have you heard that apparently some people want the director of Lieutenant to be the next Bond?
Wait, what?
Did you hear a rumor flying around that there's some people that want Cary Fukunaga, the guy that directed No Time to Die, to be the next Bond?
Okay, that I didn't do. That I didn't hear because I don't listen to the rumor mills.
Yeah, don't worry. Rumors are fun to listen to, but you should take it with a large grain of salt. But, yeah. I don't think it'll happen, but yeah. But I'm trying to think, is this the first film in which we actually see two 00 agents together since GoldenEye?
Yeah. Although, granted, how they kind of did it was a little bit of a haphazard way in this, but it's like, no, you have my number. It's like there's only going to be 9 00 agents in the world. Did you really expect that they're going to have be one short? It's like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we don't have a 00 agent anymore. It's like, let's go down to 8. It's like, no. Like, you'll still have 9.
Alexa, it's alright.
Yeah.
You're safe now.
Alright. Because in the Craig era, I don't think we ever get to see any 00s if you don't count the GoldenEye, Daniel Craig GoldenEye at all.
Yeah, it's like you don't ever really hear from like 1 through 6 or 8 or 9.
Where are they?
Mm-hmm. Or it's like, if you thought it's like, you know, this is supposed to be like, or it's like, wait a minute, it's like, if this is M's only problem, it's like, why not have like multiple guys on it? It's like, why one? Especially if it's something that, you know, that was big, that it was in your own backyard. Any other things you wanted to discuss?
Before going to the film, did you have any real concerns about it? Like free.
Maybe the entire Nomi and Bond dynamic, where it kind of felt like they were just jerking around each other a lot based off the trailers.
Like acting like they're nobodies, or that they don't exist, or
yeah.
I'm just happy it wasn't like, you know, the Last Jedi level, Star Trek Picard level, you know, character betrayal as I thought it would be.
Yeah. It's like, do you think for this one it's like they allowed Craig to end it on his own terms?
I mean, like, give Craig a say of how it should end, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how much involvement he had with the script, but I think this is the Cyber Quantum Solace. I think this is the one he had somewhat of an involvement with, but
it's like, not counting Quantum of Solace because that was a wash, because it was either that or, well, unfortunately, it's like at the time of the writer's strike, it's like you couldn't exactly hire a scab writer.
Yeah, that'd be illegal due to the union rules. but yeah, I think I would be shocked if Craig had some involvement in the script. I think he was a co-producer on this film, if I remember right.
Yes, he was one of the. Yeah, he was given production credit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Bond themes. Well, the beginning's theme song for the movie. How did you feel about that one?
It's like, you know, like how for like recent Bond songs it seems to focus on a certain character.
007. Electra's villa has a high level of security.
It kind of felt like Madeline's song, more like.
And see what Davidoff is up to. R is here to tell you about the security system. Apart from the patrolling guards, you'll need to watch out for the security cameras.
Sung by Billie Eilish.
Yeah, it's Billie Eilish.
Limited range.
Yeah.
Each set of cameras is linked to a nearby security office, so your best course of action
Do you think
is
it's an
probably
improvement over
finding those security
Spectres?
centers and disabling their systems.
Yes.
Ryan's
Be
on the
sure to get out
wall.
of your room without causing suspicion.
Kind of felt a little bit too
Here
that
to
one
see
felt
you
a bit
alone,
too
Mr. Bond.
cheesy, don't
I
you
would hate
think?
for a guard to shoot you by mistake.
Yeah, a little bit. It did feel a little melancholic, but you know, I was trying to set the tone of the film. But yeah,
Remember,
how would you
007,
rank
you need
the
to
Craig theme
utilize
songs
all of your
overall?
stealth training to avoid detection while in the villa. Avoid confrontation at all costs.
Yeah, John Cleese, we get it. It's like you can actually see stuff. Now, between Spectre and No Time to Die, isn't it like, aside from License to Kill the Goldeneye, do you think it's like, you know, the second longest gap between films?
Yeah, about 5 years in this one rather than 9.
9?
That was the time gap in GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, I just meant I just meant the gap between films, not like, you know, in universe, you know. Now, do you think Craig and Dalton are in the same continuity because of a certain vehicle that's in the film?
I wouldn't go that far.
Or do you think they just threw it in there to say, oh hey, here's something that was used in one of Dalton's films, you know?
Did it feel more like a reference than an actual continuation? I go as far as to suggest that.
Yeah, there's just some crazy thing I saw on articles like, oh yeah, something to the effect of, you know, now Dalton and Craig are in the same, you know. No, we're not.
That's...
I mean, to my... Yeah, it's like...
That's a stretch.
I mean, yeah, you could argue Dalton was very much a precursor to Craig's Bond, but no. As far as being in the same universe, no. To my understanding, everyone from Sean Connery all the way right before Daniel Craig was the same guy, and then Daniel Craig's a separate offshoot timeline. At least that's my understanding of it. Now, how do you think how fans of the Daniel Craig era are going to react to the overall tone of the film?
Like, if they were hoping for, like, Dalton-style grit, well, yeah, this wasn't the movie for that.
Dalton's what?
Dalton-style grit.
Oh, God. I mean, there definitely was that in the film, but throughout, I feel like they tried to have it both ways, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like moments that kind of felt like a Pierce film, other moments that kind of felt like signature Craig.
Certain stuff felt kind of like Roger, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We say Pierce, I'm assuming you mean the duo between Craig and Lashana?
Yeah, where they just... I don't think it really so much... What am I trying to get at? Because you know it's like Pierce had a way to outwit his way out of situations, right?
Say again?
Pierce had a tendency to outwit or, you know, outsnark his way out of situations.
Yeah. Kind of like Roger. Any other parts you thought were like, oh, that feels like a very Pierce moment to me?
Not
Or just the duo part?
Probably just a duo part.
But yeah, this film definitely had some very Pete Craig scenes that felt like, oh yeah, this is definitely, as far as being a dark, gritty assassin and all that, oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a few scenes I'm like, oh my gosh. That is Pete Craig right there.
Quick, hold up, boy.
Doesn't didn't No Time to Die kind of repeat Spectre in a few areas too, or not really? Like certain elements in like the beginning or something. But obviously, it's trying to it has to address everything that happened in the Craig era, generally speaking. But I feel like it kind of, you know, it does continue some parts from Spectre, but you think there are certain parts I'm like, oh yeah, that feels similar to happened in Spectre, you know. Or not really, they just kind of wanted to be like, okay, we're going to continue the threads for Spectre, but we're not going to, like, make it this movie, we're not going to repeat ourselves from that film, you know?
Yeah, I think that might be a better explanation.
Mm-hmm. But I don't think Spectre was a terrible film, all things considered. I just think, you know, there's certain aspects of our films that do better than that, so... Gosh. I think this will be actually the second, at least in the Craig era, where there was no tie-in game, I think. Spectre didn't get one, and this film didn't get one either.
I almost felt like it deserved one.
Oh yeah, definitely was game worthy in a lot of ways. You might have to change some things around to make it more jive like a game, but other than that, yeah, I definitely would say so. Though there's Project 007 coming out, I wonder if that's going to come out though. Though I don't think it'll be the Craig timeline, it'll just be its own thing.
Yeah, unless Craig's contract has the right to say, okay, one more game.
Oh yeah, because he has to sign up if he wants to have his likeness used and everything. But after the whole Activision, you know, but wasn't Activision the publisher for Bond games for the Craig era?
I believe they were the publisher, and not to mention it's like their engine was the one that was mostly used. Because remember,
yes.
Remember GoldenEye Wii/Reloaded.
Yeah.
Used the Modern Warfare engine, and I'm like, oh, damn it! You guys made EA look good. This is when EA's reputation pretty much almost fell apart.
Yeah. Yeah. After the whole disaster with Eurocom, I think was the name of the studio, which actually made the world's not enough for N64. Yeah, there haven't been any Bond games since then, because they made GoldenEye. They were student made the Daniel Craig GoldenEye and made 007 Legends, and that's 007 Legends did so bad that yeah, it caused the studio to go under.
It's like they had a handful of solid. They had a handful of solid things under their resume, but it's like, unfortunately, I think they were just only as good as their publisher was. Because it's like here, it's like. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like this was before EA went full EA and then hit rock bottom. Although with EA, you can probably argue that 2006 was their downfall, or better yet, losing the Bond license led to it.
Yeah.
Only to rebound, it's like with Mass Effect and Dead Space, and then they ran those franchises to the ground. But yeah, it's like, honestly, it's like gun to my head. I'd say if you had like Daniel Craig GoldenEye but with Nightfire mechanics, I think that would have been pretty damn good.
Oh, with what? With a Daniel Craig game with Nightfire graphics?
With Nightfire or everything or nothing mechanics.
That would be really cool. Wonder what the story would be, but that's not entirely true that, yeah, all the Craig games use the Call of Duty engine or whatever, Modern Warfare engine, because Bloodstone, I think, was its own engine, though.
Alright.
And I think the Quantum Solace did use the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 engine, and then for GoldenEye, I think it was definitely an engine that I think Activision used for one of the Call of Duty installments. Yeah,
it was definitely a Modern Warfare's engine. Not to mention, it's like half the weapons felt like they were ripped straight out of Modern Warfare.
The what was ripped off?
Half of the weapons, at least.
Oh yeah, and the attachments.
And then the aim down sight mechanic. I'm like, ow.
Like, really? You guys can do better than that?
It's like, I don't mind fine aim mechanics, but it's like when you when you get sunk into using ADS, aiming down the sights as the primary aiming mechanic, I'm like, oh. Hey, you probably could have used like Resident Evil 4's fine aim with a laser mechanic. I felt like that probably would have been a better go at it.
But yeah, I guess Devil Sun Legends will have to be his final game to use his likeness, because Devil Sun Legends was the only Bond game to use Craig's likeness, but didn't use his voice because he was doing Skyfall when they were making the game.
It's like, what? It's like, I understand. It's like we're probably gonna have some more ROM hacks of like other Bond adventures and GoldenEye. What do you think would be perfect with? What other movie do you think would be perfect with like any of the EA engines? You know, it's like Agent Under Fire / Nightfire, or you know, for third person, you know, Everything or Nothing / From Russia with Love. What other films do you think would fit either of those molds?
As far as movies that don't have a tie-in game?
Yes, or at least an adaptation.
Maybe License to Kill?
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know if Dalton would be interested in voicing the character. Because isn't he a little too old to do that now?
Well, if we're going to be using Sean as the yardstick, then probably. It's like, definitely with... It's like, I think with Dalton, I think he's pretty much at that point where you're going, yeah, maybe not anymore. Or it's like, maybe his voice won't fit anymore. It's like the last time it's like you've really seen, you know, Dalton still had that signature voice was Hot Fuzz. And that was back in 07.
Oh,
that was back in 06.
He didn't look his age in Hot Fuzz. I'm like, wow, you look fairly young. Fuzz is a good movie. I've watched it. It's great.
And Dalton plays such a good villain in that.
Does he love being evil or something?
I don't know.
Unless they just want to just borrow like archive. Well, you know, just get his voice from the phone, just put it in the game. Whereas the core scenes of the.
It's like, whereas with Pierce, you can definitely get it. Whereas with Pierce, he still definitely has that Bond voice about him. It's like 10, 15, like 20 years later, it's like, yeah. It's like, we just have to see a moment. It's like, okay, when does Pierce's voice give up the ghost?
As in, if he's talking in character?
Yeah.
Apparently, Pierce had a film that was... He had a movie that was filmed back in 2014, which is now just being released. I forget the name of it.
he definitely had like a bit of a post-Bond career. Not to mention, it's like, you know, he's definitely done like other films on the side while he was Bond. Well,
Thomas Crown Affair.
Yeah, that one for sure. I don't count Mamma Mia. It's like, Pierce, we love you, but please don't sing.
You sound like a dying animal.
Yeah, where it's like, oh god, yeah, it's like the first time I heard that, I'm like, oh god, no, I can't believe he's done this.
It's like, did he even want to do it? Did he even want to sing? Or the script demanded it, or what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
When did he do... Oh, crap. Now that I think about it, when did Pierce do, Mrs. Doubtfire? When was that? Was that before GoldenEye?
93? It was before GoldenEye, yes.
Okay.
93, 92, something like that.
So it's like so it's like between Remington Steele and GoldenEye.
Oh, what was that?
Was it like between his main Remington Steele days and GoldenEye, or is this like after NBC shafted? Yeah, it has to be after NBC shafted him.
Early 90s. It was definitely before he did GoldenEye. It was after that, roughly after that, he got cast to be Bond. Yeah. And not get shafted.
It's like, screw you, peacocks. As if NBC hasn't made a bunch of fuck-up decisions already. But yeah, it's like, speaking of that, I was like, they kind of bankrolled No Time to Die on the side, and I'm like, huh, okay. It was like, I think it was just like mostly the MGM logo in this case, right?
Yeah, also, I think this is the first time in a long time since, GoldenEye, that United Artists had a hand in it.
I thought UA was part of MGM.
Oh yeah, merge. I think did No Time to Die have the United Artists logo in the film somewhere?
I don't think so, because ever since The World Is Not Enough, it was MGM outright.
Oh yeah, I think it was Tomorrow Never Dies that last had the United Artists logo for the gun barrel. Then United Artists became merged with MGM completely, and then yeah. Is there any films you can think of that would best use like the Everything or Nothing commercial love engine or the Nightfire Agent Under Fire engine at all? Besides License to Kill.
Oof. I think No Time to Die would still fit.
Yeah, I have to have like more modern graphics, but yeah, it could work. I just wonder what stuff would have to be changed.
Or it's like, because I was thinking like, with Agent Under Fire and Nightfire, it's like, you'll definitely have the driving scenes in it.
Those are really meh, right?
Huh?
Like, those are really meh, right? The driving sections.
Yeah.
Like, it's not so much about the driving.
More like being able to shoot everyone. Like I said, still gotta do Spy Hunter.
Do you want to do Spy Fox?
Whoa! You want to see me be bad at a children's game?
Yes! Do it! Do it!
You see if I can find an image of it, then I'll get back to you on that.
Someone across the street from me as a kid, well, it was a family of, guys. Well, they had one of the Spy Fox titles that they didn't want anymore because the boys were all grown up, and I put it in my Windows 98 computer and it didn't frickin' work. And I don't know where the disc is, but I played the trial version of one of the games a while ago. Did you play Spy Fox growing up? The Humongous Entertainment games growing up?
No, I didn't have the discs. I was aware of it because, one of my folks had it. But, I didn't actually have it.
Like Putt Putt, Spy Fox, Freddy Fish, what else?
Yeah, I didn't have those. Like, pretty
My
much I just had,
grandparents
like,
had a few of them.
it's like
a long
reading
time
Rabbit and
ago.
Clue Finders for me.
Yeah, you ever streamed a children's game before?
Oh, no.
I'll pay you to play Spy Fox if you want.
That might be... Oh, boy. Yeah, because I was kind of pondering, it's like, do I want to do a blind playthrough of, like, No One Lives Forever or Spy Fox? I'm like, yeah, no. No One Lives Forever would have been a nice one because I wouldn't necessarily... Yeah, I've heard it kind of does a bit of a deconstruction on spy fiction. You know, it's like one with a female protagonist and the like.
Oh yeah, another thing. No Time to Die. Did you think it was somewhat of a deconstruction of Bond all over again like Skyfall, or not so much?
Not so much. Kind of like I said, you know, it still didn't feel like Bond's story outright. Next time, laser the radios. Don't shoot him unless I want to get horribly hurt.
Oh yeah, and I think if you shoot them, the alarm will still go off.
Is there a radio here on Secret or Double O? I felt like the bench was there for that.
I don't remember if the higher up you go, there's more radios you gotta do. If I don't quite remember. But yeah, some benches have empty, benches. For that guy.
Don't hurt me. Who are you? Bond. James Bond. Now land that plane for me. Okay, Flight 711, you're cleared for immediate landing, over.
Roger that, Control. We'll begin our landing at once. Over and out.
Now, wasn't No Time to Die supposed to be a somewhat different film than what we got, ultimately?
If there's something about the rumor mill, I normally don't listen to the rumor mills.
Like rewrites and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if someone had never seen the Craig films and they want to see No Time to Die for whatever reason, what films would you recommend they see before they see this?
At
Honestly,
a minimum,
I'd
they
say
have to watch Spectre because
yeah,
you're not gonna get it's like you're not gonna get a good idea of Madeline's story without it.
I'm talking. Guys,
I'd say bare minimum Casino Royale and Spectre.
Yes. Excellent. Looking forward.
Those are the key ones.
It's like
Quantum Solace is more of a continuation of Casino Royale that didn't really matter after that. Skyfall was kind of its own story, though. There might be tiny things that you might be like, oh, what's this about? But yeah, the big ones are Casino Royale and Spectre, main ones.
I was wondering.
Don't know how you feel about that. Don't know how you feel about that assessment, though.
Yeah, because I think it's like with Spectre, maybe it's like only for like one plot point would be continuing on from Quantum of Solace and just one. The Mr. White story.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe just one. Maybe just getting the overall tone of Craig and just the whole thing with what happens in Casino Royale. Yeah, there's one plot point and No Time to Die. You'll be like, oh, what's this about if you haven't seen Casino Royale? But yeah, Spectre, I will agree, is the big one to watch before you watch this. Bare minimum. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, isn't No Time... Doesn't the beginning of No Time to Die continue right after the end of Spectre? Or is it like a year? Because I know, the beginning of the movie to the rest of the film is 5 years apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know at the very beginning of not counting the very first scene, but the scenes with Madeline and Bond in retirement. Like, I wonder if that immediately takes place after Spectre.
Kind of seems so, or maybe like less than a year, I believe. Or right. I wouldn't necessarily. It's right after the end of Spectre.
Yeah, definitely not.
Probably like a few months apart.
I'd say so. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is this the? I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think back a bit here. Back to Pierce. Isn't this the first Bond film since what? GoldenEye, in which they were like several years apart throughout the film.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time since then to have a time jump within the same movie, I believe.
Yeah, not counting like the opening of Die Another Day, but that was like 14 months between the prologue and main part of the film.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count that. I'm just stuck in there like, yeah, several years. It's the first time we had that long of a gap within two parts of the story, yeah. Wait, Die Another Day, was it really 14 months?
Yeah.
Bond was in North Korea, and then they did the whole prisoner exchange with him and Ron's character, and then
Rick Yones.
Rick Yones. I know it was spelled with an R. I just couldn't forget the I couldn't remember the actor's name. But yeah, I think. Yeah, like I said, I feel like the movie tries to combine elements of different films, plot elements of different films, different storytelling points into this film. It's like, it tries to, but successfully, by the way, to combine those elements into something new, I will say.
Yeah, and
which I find really cool.
Now that you remind me about it, yeah, it's like, it almost feels like one of the character subplots kind of feels very, The Living Daylights-ish.
You mean as in a third party, like, screwing with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit.
We'll get into more depth with that next time.
Yeah, remember to bring it up. But yeah, yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, I definitely will say if you love Bond references to other stuff and similarities to our films, I say you'll definitely like this film. I definitely will say.
It kind of definitely seems like a big culmination film.
Yeah. You think it did that better than Die Another Day did?
Yeah, and Die Another Day was supposed to be like, what, the 40th anniversary?
Right. Arco.
Yeah, 40th anniversary since Dr. No came out, yeah.
Do not arouse suspicion.
Now, Skyfall was the 50th anniversary, and honestly, that wasn't really about referencing other films. You might have had the biometric guard with Bond's modified PPK that Ben Whishaw gives him, but and maybe the Aston Martin DB5 and maybe Scotland. Maybe you could argue as well. I think Scotland was actually the real birthplace of the literary James Bond, if I remember correctly. But
who are you?
Skyfall wasn't really about referencing previous films.
And you are.
It was more of its own thing. It might have been going back into Bond's origins a little bit at the Skyfall manor that he grew up in. But other than that, it wasn't really too much about referencing other films. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it kind of felt like Skyfall was more like this thing that just tries to address a generational gap.
Skyfall honestly had a core role that's not enough plot thread to it. Something dark in M's past, you know?
Your English is very good for a Russian.
Forgot to mention that during our Skyfall Spectre watch through.
I want to check something.
Except M actually dies as a result.
You'll have to hurry to catch up with your friends. Your colleagues are already in the blast window.
Is there a place I could get the vest beforehand, before walking into the blast pit?
What are you doing here?
Sorry
I think if you go down to where the guy says this area is off limits to the left side of the big room there, there should be like a bioarmor next to that guard. I don't know how much the delay is on my end. But yeah, Agent, you can definitely get away with no bioarmor.
What are you doing here?
Sorry to disturb you.
Yeah,
You'll have to go around.
Found it.
Yeah.
Also full.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is a little seamless for me because I'm on a better computer. So.
And the launch data stuff is supposed to be this terminal Christmas is on, right?
I don't know about. Oh, you mean the
tracking card
for the bomb? Oh, the tracking card for the bomb. You get that from one of the goons when you're trying to chase after Renard from stealing the bomb.
I remember that part from the film. I just forgot if it was a particular goon where I needed to go to the terminal here.
Oh yes. There's a guy. I don't think, Agent, you have to get it. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, the goon should be like in that area, and then you shoot him, and then go to his body, and as soon as it tells you, yeah, you picked up the locator card, then yeah, you're gold. Restarted it?
Yeah, I kind of screwed up, and I also pulled my gun out because I'm like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to press A.
All right, Arko. You better find the officer in charge.
Yeah.
And let him know you're here. Welcome to Kazakhstan, Dr. Arko. It isn't often we see someone of your stature here. I go where the work takes me. Oh, by the way, you have the transport documents?
No, you didn't have the roll. It's not enough.
Look for our ID.
As a game on cartridge growing up, right?
I did not.
Dang it. Is it just the marketing that wasn't good, or what?
Are you here for a reason? Who are you?
It was also like, you know, a year before the GameCube was announced, so...
Dr. Jones. Christmas Jones. Papers, please. Okay, take the elevator Your friends are already down there. Your English is very good for a Russian.
I studied at Oxford.
The Bond's up ahead. I'll catch up to you. I want to check something.
You will have to go around.
Expecting Davidoff, he caught a bullet instead of a plane. You can't kill me.
Can't kill me,
already
I'm
dead.
already dead.
Not dead enough for me. I should be grateful. You delivered the money.
You honestly
to
think
TNT,
this is the best
and now
Pierce
you brought me the
Brosnan
plane.
voice
That bomb will
double?
never leave this place. Neither will you.
Yeah,
There's no point
I didn't
in
really
waiting
listen
for
to
the
Agent Under Fire, and then, you know,
Drop
with
the gun.
Nightfire, his
Now.
voice sounds a bit too deep to be Bond.
There are too many new faces around here. Everyone's on the surface.
You heard the Tomorrow Never Dies voice, right?
I did not hear that.
Who are you?
Those men are the
Well, it's in my
imposters.
YouTube.
They're stealing the bomb.
That game was not even intended to be a tie-in for the movie. It was originally intended to be a sequel for the Tomorrow Never Dies movie. What theater did you see No Time to Die at? Was it Regal or AMC? What was it?
It was a Regal.
Same here. I was a little shocked that they switched to Pepsi. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but
I don't mind Pepsi.
I decided to go in dry, so no concessions or the like. I'm not paying like $6 for a fountain soda.
Wow. 6?
Yes.
That's even like, it's like, it's just medium size?
Yes.
Normal size?
It was like $6.50.
It's a crock of shit. Pardon the language, but jeez, damn it. $6 for soda? What?
Yeah, I shit you not.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. What prices here were meh. Yeah, I don't know if Pepsi just gave them. Apparently, before 2002 or 1, apparently Pepsi was the soft drink for Regal. I don't know. I guess maybe they just gave them an offer they couldn't refuse. I don't know. But apparently they switched to Pepsi before the pandemic, so it adds nothing to the economic reset that we experienced, you know, during that. So, but yeah, I was just in for wow. No Coke anymore? Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Guess I'll
now
have to go
a
to
Pepsi
AMC
flavored
or
iced
Cinemark
tea.
for that.
No hard feelings, Mr. Bond. We're even. Soon
So yeah, no
we'll
popcorn, no
never-
soda, no nothing.
Yeah, no. I didn't even come in with snacks.
Wouldn't they like kind of frown upon that?
Well, if you get caught.
Not wrong, as long as you don't get caught. Do you have any ideas why they decided to mix and match with this film, as far as the tone?
Wait, for which film?
No Time to
So you're
Die.
a British spy. Do you have a name?
The name's Bond. James Bond.
As in, why do they change the tone left and right?
Yeah. No, I didn't have a problem with it.
I have a
I
present
just
for
feel
you.
like that, you know, they
Something
just
to
want to
belong
have
to
the
my
best of
father.
both worlds, you
He
know?
would have wanted you to have.
We're trying to fit everything all at
He often
once.
spoke of how compassionately you advised
Yeah,
him
but I
during
felt
my
like they
kidnapping.
spaced it out fine, you
His
know?
lapel
Yeah.
pin.
But it's very valuable, you know. I just couldn't let it explode with the rest of him. Take her to the helicopter.
Yeah, as far as like other general things about No Time to Die I wanted to talk about, I don't think there's like any more like in general or like non-spoiler specific that I can really talk about at this point. Maybe it'll come more naturally.
Yeah, it's like we can only talk about so much without
Yeah.
giving away something big, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, overall thoughts, we both think, yeah, it's probably the best conclusion film for a Bond actor, and one that actually felt like an ending.
Yeah. I didn't, yeah. And yeah, at the theater, yeah. I didn't really grab any popcorn or like, you know, it's like, you know what I like to do, or like what I normally want to do. It's like, just get like pants with large pockets and then just have a juice box with a pair of granola bars. I kind of did not have any of those on hand, so I'm like, ah, crap. Next time I go, probably for Dune, I'll do that.
Oh, you're going to go see Dune?
I'm deciding on the day I want to. Because I'm thinking about finding another Sunday if there's a football game I really don't care about watching.
Is it considered a reboot or a remake?
Dune has gone through, in this case, its third. I wouldn't necessarily say film, but definitely the second film adaptation. There used to be a mini-series that was on it, but yeah. It's like,
Live
consider
action or
this like the
cartoon?
second movie iteration.
Was the miniseries like live action or cartoon?
Live action.
Was it, you know, DS?
I didn't see that one because I didn't have the Sci-Fi Channel back then.
Wasn't there like Dune 2000 or something like that?
I don't think that was the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's like there might have been adaptations of the later books, but like I said, as far as like the main book of Dune itself, this is I believe this is the third iteration, at least the third version of it. Because you had the David Lynch film version, then you had the version that was on the Sci-Fi Channel, which was like a mini-series, and then it followed up with some of the sequel books. And this is the third version to be put on. This is the second version to be on a full feature film scale. But as far as I'm aware, it's not going to try to gloss over the whole film like the David Lynch version did. As far as I know, this is probably going to be split into two. At least this current iteration is going to be split into two. The event kind of told me about it. The last few chapters of the book were like glossed over in 20 minutes.
Went for the film adaptation?
Yeah, the David Lynch film version.
Was that the 1980s one?
Yes.
Okay, I have that on Blu-ray. So my dad recorded a VHS of it back in the 90s off one of the channels he was watching on, so we had that before that.
Yeah. Odds are you may have had the Alan Smithy cut, which was the one that was recorded, which is the one that fits on a 4-hour block. It's like 3 hours, and then with an hour of commercials in it.
What about like the home release cut? Does it cut certain stuff out or what?
The home video version was like the original version, and then it's like the Alan Smithy cut is supposed to add like a few more scenes worth of backstory, or at least tries to force deleted scenes in.
That's different from the home release, right?
I would not the home release. If we're talking the Alan Smithy cut, that's the cable release.
Oh yeah, TV. Who the hell's gonna play Patrick Stewart's character?
It's Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Kind of does look like Patrick Stewart a little bit, except he's not bald.
Well, that, or I wouldn't be surprised if there's just some parts where they're trying to fit it more with the book version. But it's like, sometimes it's like, you don't necessarily have to be one-to-one exactly with a book. It's like, take enough where you can at least tell the whole story front to back. Although, granted, Dune's probably one of those books that is kind of like a behemoth with all the backstory and then like all of the things where you have to explain where most of the characters came from.
It's a really weird movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what about Patrick Stewart being James Bond?
Shh.
It wouldn't really fit him. He's too Shakespearean for that.
Yeah. It's like I thought Dalton was Shakespearean, but otherwise it's like at that moment it's like he already had like a few years of television under his belt.
Stewart
or Dalton?
I don't know if Dalton did much TV. I know he was in the early 80s Flash Gordon and a few other play films.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's like, because it's like, it's like Roger Moore definitely had an entire TV tenure. It's like, he was in the Saint beforehand. It was like, one of the highest paid television actors at the time?
Yes. Do you really think Roger Moore is the Bond that Austin Powers mimics? Or at least makes fun of the most?
What you were saying? Sorry, my TV cut out.
No problem. Do you think Roger Moore is the most Austin Powers-like James Bond actor?
Or at least the one that's most prone to being parodied.
Yes.
I won't be surprised if it's because it's like the writing staff for that at the time. It's like they had a wealth of things to poke fun of if they were like Connery or Moore fans.
Mm-hmm. I think Austin Powers kind of over-exaggerates, most particular Moore, to be honest. Though the general, persona of Roger, yeah, I can see they kind of copied it for Austin Powers. Because isn't Roger the one? Didn't he kind of amplify Sean's? All right, which girl am I gonna shag with tonight?
If Moore's personality was more like trying to embrace the Playboy millionaire persona, then probably.
Well, yeah, wasn't in Live and Let Die, he's more like Simon Templar than the rest of his Bond outings. Like, he was still kind of getting out of that still.
Well, yeah, that and, it's like he turns into, like, a full, cold-hearted person as of the man with the golden gun. And it's like, just find the sweet spot right there by the time of The Spy Who Loved Me.
Mm-hmm.
Although, granted, it's like the man with the golden gun, it's pretty much, it's like, oh, he only shoots one person in the whole film.
Scaramanga.
And he stuffs a midget in a suitcase.
But I don't know if he dies, he's just hung around the ship.
No, more like stuffed in the suitcase, and also, he was hot, and then, it's like he was stuck in that cage on was it the mast?
Yeah, the mast.
Yeah. He lives at the end, so It's like humiliated, broke. It's like I was supposed to get all of his stuff when you kill him, but now you just ruined the whole thing.
Well, we all know who really James Bond is. Christopher frickin' Lee, damn it. Because I just did some research in that Ian Fleming based a lot of James Bond's adventures in the books and him as a character based off Christopher Lee's experiences in World War II, as well as his own experiences in naval intelligence. And him and Ian Fleming were actually step cousins, believe it or not. Yeah, there's a meme that says that, yeah, Christopher Lee literally is James Bond. And yeah, I think he assassinated Nazis in the Secret Service during World War II as well. So a lot of Ian Fleming's ideas for the Bond character came from that. Now, which one do you think did the now that Craig's era is over? Which one do you think excelled at the darker, grittier Bond? All things considered, Dalton or Craig? Probably Craig because of the longevity.
Whereas, like, with Dalton, it's like you definitely knew. Whereas with Dalton, it's like you knew he definitely hated his job from the get-go.
He was a veteran at that point. With Casino Royale, it shows Bond starting his career.
Yeah, and then it's like M is like, you are way too much of a loose cannon to be starting your career like this, and making an international laughingstock of yourself.
Celebrating your promotion to 00 by shooting up an embassy.
Whereas, like, it's like with Moore, sometimes it's like, he may pull off an embarrassment or two, but it's like otherwise it's like M's like, yeah, you still got the job done, but at least if you're embarrassing yourself, you're at least I'm an earshot or visiting that. Whereas like with Craig with the embassy scene, it's like, yeah, congratulations, you made yourself an entire laughing stock on the international news circuit. Have fun with that.
Yeah, taking matters in his own hands.
And getting busted by the press.
Mm-hmm.
And
how could Bond be so stupid?
It's like, and you got caught on camera. It's like one thing you have to do is like, it's like the one thing in intelligence is you gotta have plausible deniability, and if your face is gonna be on camera all the time, well, forget it.
Sorry, I'll shut the camera out next time.
Or yourself.
Oh, ow. Judi Dench was definitely not as motherly as she was in Brosnan. To her, everyone's expendable.
Yeah.
Even Bond.
Yeah.
Her best agent. Because isn't Judi Dench's M and the Daniel Craig continuity and the Pierce Brosnan, isn't she technically a different character altogether?
Yeah, for plot purposes, yes. It's like same actress, but entirely different characters.
Mm-hmm. It was a different timeline, so I think in the Pierce continuity, M's real name was Barbara, I believe. But here it's Olivia, I think.
Yeah.
Mansfield.
Yeah.
I forget the last name, but I think her first name in the Pierce Brosnan continuity was Yeah, Barbara. I forget the last name. I think it was in the GoldenEye script or something like that somewhere. I've always wondered, was Robert Brown the predecessor to Judi Dench? I've always wondered.
Kind of almost seemed that way because Pierce did mention M's predecessor at one point.
The predecessor kept a bottle of, I couldn't quite catch the drink.
It was a cognac, and then Judi Dench preferred bourbon.
Bourbon. Yeah. Is that kind of like vodka, not bourbon, but cognac or whatever?
I haven't had proper cognac, but I want to say it's probably like another shot-like glass, or like one of those that you see in those glasses that Pierce and Judy drink out of.
Like that was apple juice, actually, not real booze.
Yeah, because there's laws saying you can't actually drink on camera.
Yeah, they get in trouble. Now, when I used to saw GoldenEye, I just wonder if they thought the Vendetta reference that Judi Dench makes, I wonder if that would flew over everyone's heads, because I think License to Kill, I think, was the lowest grossing box at the box office in the U.S. outside of the U.K., I think. So not too many people saw that one because of the PG-13 rating.
And we all know it film was one of the main reasons for that.
What was? Oh yeah, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That was the Temple of Doom that really was the genesis for that.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of the box office for License to Kill. Yeah, PG-13 was heralded by Temple of Doom. Sorry, I was thinking of two other things. And then it was going against Star Trek V: The Frontier, and I think Tim Burton's Batman that year for Last Crusade, so it didn't really help either.
And that's when it stopped being a summer film.
Yep, last Bond film to release in summer. Everything else was like Christmas. It's like from each film 10 years apart from Our Majesty's Secret Service, I feel like each film wanted to reference that in some way. And No Time to Die definitely did that too, except it wasn't. Well, technically, No Time to Die was finished in 2019. They finished it in 2019, but they didn't release it because I think there was some post-production stuff they were dealing with, and then obviously the whole thing of the pandemic pushed it back even further and all that.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
meanwhile,
No Time to Die managed to release on time. What's Top Gear Maverick's excuse?
I don't know. It's just more, beer bug. I don't know what happened with Top Gear Maverick, why I got pushed back to this May, but I could look up. I don't know. I might see Dune. I don't know, but Top Gear Maverick, I definitely want to see.
Yeah,
once it's there. Sorry, Tom Cruise fans. New Top Gun and Mission Impossible movies delayed again.
It's like No Time to Die was supposed to release last October. It's like, okay, cool. We only had to wait a year.
Mm-hmm. Finally, they're just like, okay, you know what? Everything's got a subside. Let's just get this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of, I wonder what No Time to Die's earnings are so far. No Time earnings so far. $212 million in North America alone remains the highest earning movie of 2021 at the domestic box office. Huh. Not too bad. Of course, it's not counting international box office outside of the U.S.
You're just talking U.S. domestic?
Yeah. Worldwide total of $144.6 million. Okay.
That sounds a bit low.
Yeah, a tiny bit. Well, then again, there's still locations recovering, so not as much venues.
How much was your ticket? I think mine was 12.
How much was License to Kill's terminal earnings? Let me check that out. I always use License to Kill as the yardstick for low films and bonds. So, total earnings. 156.1 million. I have a budget of 32. Okay. Well, it's only the first couple weeks, so we can probably give it some time. But I think it'll definitely beat License to Kill. So. All right. What happened to the game?
I turned it off.
All right, no problem.
At that point, I'm already at City of Walkways, and I hate that mission.
Oh, it's a complete tire fire on 00 Agent. I don't blame you. Even on Agent's a little
Especially like the helicopter attack scene. Especially if you don't know how the bloody guided missiles work.
I just do it manual, and then what I do is I just go to the drawbridge, go to like the bottom of it, and then just manually fire the rockets when it's in the center of the bridge.
Okay, and then you just stay by the truck. I mean, you just stay by the trunk of the car because it has all the rockets you need.
What I do is I go to where you know how the drawbridge is up and all that. I just go towards that, then just go under that, and then whenever I need to get more missiles, I just quickly run to Zakowski's car, get the missiles, and then just keep shooting the helicopter until I kill it. Makes life a lot easier. Yeah, if you want to try that trick, you can.
Yeah, I'm kind of dead tired now, so I'm thinking let's call it a night for now.
Sure. But yeah, I can't wait to go more full on with the plot details. I feel like it's going to be a lot more fun to do. I had fun discussing the initial reaction to the film, but still, yeah.
Very much so, and I kind of need a lot of dead air killing if I'm going to be screwing these missions left and right now.
So even Agent Under Fire wouldn't work?
Like I said, I don't have the horsepower to stream Dolphin. The only game I've really done that with was like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and even then that was like one of the lighter ones, and even then it was kind of belaboring.
You can always try PlayStation too.
If you've seen me do Time Crisis, PCSX2 is very inconsistent.
As far as like performance?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Dolphin's being a bit more stable, but yeah, admittedly, I don't have the horsepower to stream Dolphin. And as I mentioned, PCSX2 is very hit or miss with certain games nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, PlayStation 2, despite the fact it has the worst graphics of the bunch, yeah, it still performs very similarly, especially the emulators and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if my new gaming laptop will be able to stream those kind of games. Of course, you know, I like to stream with actual consoles, not emulators, because, you know, I'm what's called what's the term for that? I can't remember. Oh, a purist. That's what it's called, a purist. But yeah, I would honestly would love to do streaming now that I have probably gonna have a better laptop to do it on, since my career was not really meant. My previous career was not meant for that. But yeah, it'd be fun to stream some Bond games. Maybe have you join in.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's like you still got Metroid Prime Trilogy for Wii U. I can join in for that one too.
Yeah. Of course, I could probably stream that through my laptop too, or desktop.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about getting a new tower sometime soon. Because yeah, I definitely need to get a new one because apparently Like, there are just some parts that are just out of date or just straight up discontinued. Like, I can clean this up and, it's like, I can clean out the dust bunnies from this tower, and then probably add a few more hard drives and make it a storage rig, and then it ends there. Or, better yet, it's like, it still has a good graphics card, so I can do some more video recording with that, but beyond that, I'm like, I set out to do what I wanted to do with this tower. It's done most of my needs adequately, but I'm like, at some point, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna need to take the next step somewhere. I do have the money. I do have the money saved up for that. I do have the money for, new bicycles saved up. It's just a question of, okay, it's like, okay, let's go visit a bike store. It's like, I know what I want in mind. It's like, let's just see if there's something within a reasonable price range. Well, not to mention it's like the helmet and the box. Kind of have to put money for that aside. But yeah, it's like, as far as like all my entertainment and other stuff goes, I've saved up enough for that. It's just a question of, okay, here's my budget, what fits my needs, and how long until I'm willing to pull the trigger.
Yeah, whenever's convenient.
Yeah.
I'd say Windows 10 is definitely, from going to Windows 7 to Windows 10, I definitely would say it's not that big of a, not that big of a change as far as compatibility. Like, you could still use some of the same tricks to get stuff to work on Windows 10 like with Windows 7. So
yeah, I'm just gonna wait till like 11's stabilized, because otherwise I might just get the last iteration of 10.
Yeah, you got a few years before Windows 10 goes out, so that's what I'm gonna do with my laptop.
Yeah.
Well, my new one.
It's like if 11's been, it's like if 11 has been the consensus agreed to be stable, then fine, I'll get it. But otherwise, I'm like, yeah, it's like, I'm not a big fan of, like, if an OS is experimental and you expect that to be mass produced. I'd rather not get burned on that.
Yeah, understandable.
Then at some point, it's like, the OS discs for 10 are probably going to be, not as expensive.
Yeah, the price will go down over time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I look forward to going to full spoilers next week.
Yeah, it's like, if you want to do the same arrangement as last week, do a Friday Prime late night, or I can do Saturday Prime late night as well. Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, I'll keep you informed what day works next week in that case, yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, that was our general discussion of No Time to Die. No spoilers.
Yeah, or at least we tried to damn this, but we let one or two slip.
Yeah. Because we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, very much so. We will see you guys next time, so good night.
Yep, good night, guys. Keep it real.
And don't let keeping it real go wrong.